Welcome backstage at Boom Chicago. I'm Pep Rosenfeld.
I'm Greg. Hey.
And it is great to have you back here again for the third part of Trump Up the Volume, the social distancing edition.
Yeah. And
we're super psyched to have you here. Hey, here's the thing. I will say it again. If you missed Tuesday and Thursday, that's super cool because two things you should know. One, they live forever on YouTube, so you can watch anytime. And two, you're on lockdown. You've got plenty of time to watch stuff on YouTube.
Right. And most important thing I'm saying here is buy a ticket, obviously. I see some people in the live stream chat are sharing where they're watching from, maybe what level of ticket you bought. There's a whole range you can find out on boomchicago.nl. And please do buy a ticket. It really helps a lot of the actors, performers, and technicians here at Boom Chicago who currently don't have a lot of work.
So Greg and I are going to take the stage in just a couple of minutes. We just want to run you again quick through how we're keeping everything safe. If you've heard this, make yourself a snack, make yourself a drink. It's the perfect time for that. And I know most folks are watching here in Amsterdam or the Netherlands. Some folks are in the States, we know, and it's the middle of the afternoon there. But please drink anyway. You know how you're always like, it's 8 o'clock somewhere. It's 8 o'clock right here.
Day drinking.
Day drinking.
Last time we gave you a tour of backstage, some of the costumes.
Oh, yeah. So last time the theme was the coronavirus through costumes. Now we want to pay tribute to some of the jobs that have been lost in the last year and some that have remained.
Let's see. This here is actually, Boom Chicago does corporate shows for businesses, and we worked for Foot Locker at one point. We got a whole lot of these Foot Locker referee jerseys, and just like the referees in a lot of World Cup soccer games have been eliminated by video VAR technology, maybe a lot of these guys are currently being eliminated as well. We hope you keep your jobs.
But why worry about technology when you can worry about the virus and the athletes themselves? This is a jersey from the Chicago Cubs baseball team, but they're not the only ones not playing right now. It's football, it's soccer, it's basketball, it's the whole Megillah. These guys, unfortunately, because the Chicago Cubs will not be able to play this season, they will definitely not win the World Series, which, let's face it, wouldn't have happened in the absence of Corona either.
Yeah. Let's see. These are Superheroes cape. Superheroes also nowhere to be found, but these guys doing essential services and even the deliveries, I've seen guys wearing these vests, making supermarket grocery deliveries. Those are the heroes for now. Keep it up.
And let's not forget the Dutch police going through the parks and making sure the social distancing rules are being enforced, but in that very Dutch way, excuse me, please, it would be very nice if you would part ways, if you would please, if that is possible. Thank you, Dutch police.
I'm on the chat. I've got some, music here? It doesn't really work.
Well, while you're doing it, let me just say this. It's just, you know what else you could do that would be awesome is let other people know. This is the last of these shows. Now, there's Going Steady next week with Stacey and Matt. That's going to be fantastic. This is the last Trump Up the Volume show, so if you've got friends, family, or strangers, but you know how to contact them, let them know right now. Get them watching and make it a social event. Whatever your means of communication is. Basically, if you've ever seen a right-wing uncle post something stupid, that is a potential medium for you to share information about the show.
Dennis Miller was pretty funny. You should watch this video. Yeah, sure. Anyway, I'm on the chat now, by the way. And, I've just got some people who have paid for tickets. We've got Bert de Liefde, who bought the KLM Huisjes ticket, which is pretty generous, thank you. He is a KLM pilot, actually a friend of Boom Chicago, Bert de Liefde, or the love, basically. Share the love. And we got Matthew Scully, who is not a KLM pilot, even though his name sounds like Sully. And he also bought the KLM Huisjes ticket. Well done. And James McDonald bought the In the Show ticket, which is a nice, generous contribution. Thank you. I guess we'll be talking to you later in the show.
And by the way, those tickets to be in the show are still available for Stacey and Matt's show next week. And for their show, I mean, James is just going to be in for a little bit. For the 50 euros for next week's show, they'll actually like sing a song about you or something. It's way more value for your money, and I can say that now because we already have James's.
Okay, good.
Hey, I want to take you out onto the stage just to let you know how we're keeping things safe there.
Yeah.
But look around here. All the spaces are wiped down. Greg and I 1.5 meters at least apart.
Yeah.
And by the way, we kept those rules in effect even when we were at home working, because you're supposed to work at home, and we did. Our director Andrew and Greg and I, we spent a lot of time at home. And I don't know if you saw that shirt that Andrew was wearing, but if you think we made fun of him for wearing that shirt, we absolutely did. He wore it once and never again. So this is my side of the stage. That's Greg's side of the stage. We got a tape measure, so we don't spit. I think I could try and spit on Greg on purpose, and I would not reach him with my spit and get him sick. That's how safe we are. Way up in the booth is Tom, and Tom, I mean, he's so far away, there's no chance that he could give or take a droplet. In the bar is where the Dream Stream team from We Are Live is. And look at them, separated by see-through walls as if it's the world's least private voting booth ever. Behind them is where we change clothes when we get here. You can see we've got our outside shoes and our outside coats, and we put on our inside shoes and our inside clothes. Racist against outside clothes? A little bit. But maybe a little outer clothes-phobic behavior is what it takes to beat this disease. We do have a couple people in the theater. It's not a totally empty theater tonight, though it's almost empty, and it's pretty sad when you look around. But we've got some essential people in the house tonight, people that have to be there, and that's why they're there, although I got to admit it, when they laugh at stuff we do, it certainly helps. But say hello to Simon. Simon, do you have anything you want to tell the folks?
So we have a... Oh, where am I looking? There we go. Hello. Yes, so we have a live online movie quiz coming up this Friday. We have a live online movie quiz this Friday that's going to be live on YouTube, the Boom Chicago Movie Quiz. So after a couple of successful shows live in the theatre, we are going live on YouTube. And we thought, in these uncertain times, what would be a better theme than that of comedy movies to cheer us on? So it's going to be live on YouTube. You can find details on the Boom Chicago channel. It is technically free to enter, but we do ask that if you do play and you do enjoy, that you do support us by donating. And the only other thing to say is, if you know your Holy Grail from your You've Got Mail, your Tina Fey from your Kid and Play, and your Dumb and Dumber from your Wet Hot American Summer, then this is the quiz for you. So see you Friday, 24th of April at 8:30 p.m. Dutch time. Thank you.
That sounds great, Simon, and not just because you found so many movies that rhymed, and not only because you started using the microphone. It sounds fantastic, and we're looking forward to that. More than 2 meters away from Simon, our CEO, Saskia, and Finn. Finn is in charge of the venue itself. He's the one keeping it clean. So if I touch something and got sick, Finn is the one who will feel guilty. Here, again, 2 meters away from everyone, is Andrew Moskos, our director of tonight's show.
Hey, hello. I'm here on the Going Steady couch, and if you had fun this week, or if you're looking for something totally different, next week, Going Steady, Stacy and Matt are going to be doing a show, all improvised, a very Boom Chicago feeling show. And not about politics, not about Trump. It's just going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be funny. It's going to be really interactive. We're going to be using a lot of suggestions, people in the show. And I encourage you to come back Tuesday, part 1, Thursday, Saturday, next week as well. We'll see you Going Steady.
And Andrew, I'm guessing that it's not possible to buy tickets to that show right now?
Funny, it is possible.
Oh, that's crazy.
You can go to boomchicago.nl, buy tickets for next week. There's so many funny tickets. The more expensive, the funnier it gets. It just gives you a warm feeling inside. But it's going to be great. We need to laugh, and life is better when you laugh, and that's what's behind Boom Chicago's live streaming shows.
Amen. Amen indeed. All right, I'm going to go back and see what Greg is up to. Greg?
We're at 1 minute.
We're at 1 minute.
We've got, another reminder to not too late to buy a ticket. That is why we're doing this. And boomchicago.nl. Also, if you want to just donate, you can stay right here on the YouTube site. If you look in the info section of this streaming video, there is a link. You can donate there. You can pick any number to donate. 69. I think that'd be pretty funny.
It's a funny number. Let me also say before we begin that a lot of you watching have jobs, and those jobs used to have events and kind of cool interactive face-to-face workshops, and you're like, oh, thanks to quarantine, I can't either have an event or a workshop, you couldn't be wronger. We've got amazing digital interactive programs, and we can create a fantastic digital event for you that really uses the medium, and we kind of make a talk show about your company instead of some kind of watered-down Zoom version of the meeting.
So bad.
And I won't say that now, obviously. That would be a corporate message I will not say.
That'd be so wrong.
That'd be so wrong. I would never do it. I would never do it.
We have a big baseball theme going on the chat tonight, although I should point out the most Dutch baseball team would be the Mets, because they kept the orange from the Dutch flag way back when it was New Amsterdam. So well done, Mets.
Is that what the orange is from?
Yeah.
I've learned something new. I wasn't careful, and I learned something.
All right, that's it. We have to start the show.
All right, let us, we'll see you on stage.
Let's take the stage.
Yeah.
Live from Boom Chicago in Amsterdam. With a closed bar, we present a comedy show with 2 actors and a small crew in an empty theater. A show that totally follows Dutch government rules and 1.5 meter social distancing. This is Trump Up the Volume. Please welcome Pep Rosenfeld and Greg Shapiro.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please clap. Please clap.
My name is Pep.
I am Greg.
And we want to welcome you and thank you for joining us for this, the final episode of Trump Up the Volume, the social distancing edition.
Yes.
Stay back.
Stay back.
This could get messy.
Tonight we are 2 guys talking all about one big topic the whole night long. Yes, Donald J. Trump. And the J is for the way I treat women. The J is for gentlemen. It's true.
So look, the other night, Greg said something about Donald Trump being the first mentally ill president. We got some feedback about that. So look, I just want to clear this up.
Yeah.
Yes, George W. Bush was a very dumb president, but being dumb is not a mental illness. And I know what you're thinking. Isn't Donald Trump also dumb? And the answer is yes. Dumb and mentally ill are also not mutually exclusive.
Right.
It's for you.
And just to set the record straight, when we say mentally ill, I mean that as a compliment about Donald Trump, because the job has got to be hard for him. I don't know how this man can function as an executive when he lacks basic executive function. Executive function, go with me here, early childhood development. Most of us don't have to think about it because we've mastered it before the age of 3. Executive function, it's I think of a plan, I announce my plan, I execute my plan. Donald Trump still can't get through all 3 steps, right? He's like, I think we need a vaccine. We're going to make a vaccine. Here's how we're going to, I got retweeted by Kanye. Yeah, we're not going to get that vaccine.
No, we might not get it, Greg. And that is why it's probably good news that for right now, the social distancing rules continue to be in effect where you are, where we are. This is a sign from our Vondel Park in Amsterdam. And I got to say, these signs, it's great that they're up because like I go into that park to walk my dog, which is allowed.
Yeah.
And we're great at the social, all us dog walkers are great at staying, 2 meters apart. And you know who's not so good at it is joggers. Joggers are the worst. They jog up right behind you and they're huffing and puffing and like squirting their droplets all over your neck. It's gross without the disease and it's dangerous with the disease. And yes, I am in the footpaths. And yes, one time a jogger literally said to me, "Hey, what am I supposed to do? Make a detour?" And I was like, to be fair, like, buddy, you're jogging. Your whole agenda today, you have no schedule, you have no destination. Your whole event is a detour. Get the hell out of here.
Right? No, we have to be responsible. Certainly in the Netherlands, we're already one step behind in the international media. I don't know if you've seen the coverage in the BBC, for example. Oh yeah, the Dutch lockdown may be a high-risk strategy. I mean, they're comparing the Netherlands to Sweden. Like the Netherlands, now this week, they don't even have to wear face masks. The Prime Minister is like, no, don't bother wearing face masks. They must be the same as Sweden. And I'm like, please, do not lump the Netherlands into the same category as Sweden, where it's IKEA lockdown and you have to make the face masks yourself. Come on, it's just not the same.
To be fair to the international press, like at the very beginning, our lockdown was a little wishy-washy. You know what I mean? Like our Prime Minister, Mark Rutte, they had this big press conference. Everybody's very serious. Yeah. But he was like clear in that way that only Dutch people can understand, where it's like, there's going to be 3 categories, but we're not telling you which category we're doing exactly, and we want you to stay in, but you can definitely go out if you can, if you need to, and businesses should close, but they can be open, but be careful if you choose to go to them. It was like it was very Dutch parent, where it was like, I'm going to trust you to do something that you obviously were going to disappoint me about, and then sure enough, like the weekend after that press conference was one of those sunny days where like Dutch people take one of their 50 pairs of white pants and drink rosé on the terrace. And so he was mad. And the next press conference, he literally looked at the camera and said, I am so disappointed with you. But then he toughened up, and we've got strict rules now. We all understand the rules, and there's huge penalties for individuals or companies if you break the rules. So we are not using the Dutch gedogen. Gedogen, for those that don't know, is a Dutch word that basically means everything is technically illegal, but you can kind of do whatever you want.
Yeah. Yes and no. I mean, an example would be the scooter. Scooter new rules. It was 1 year ago, right? 8th of April, they said no more scooters on the bike path. Scooters have to go on the street, and you have to wear a helmet. And it's now 1 year later, and it's not that hard to find kids riding the scooters with no helmet at all. Do they go on the bike path? Yeah, they still go on the bike path. But maybe if you're lucky, they slow down so that they don't hit the parent with the stroller who just got out of the way. That's it.
And then there was the moment during the lockdown press conference where at first they announced, we're also going to close the coffee shops, the businesses where you buy marijuana. And as soon as they announced this, you saw lines like this.
Whoa, no!
The hoarding began.
Yeah.
I don't know where you live. You probably bought toilet paper. These dudes bought weed. So they immediately announced they're changing the rules. The coffee shops can stay open. It turns out that in the Netherlands, marijuana is an essential business.
Thank goodness. And then you got Mark Rutte, Prime Minister, who went on and gave another press conference and lined up the new set of rules. These press conferences are so great, and they've got the sign language for the hearing impaired. And thank goodness, thanks to the very colorful sign language translation, we now have the proper official pronunciation of the Dutch letter G.
And I like that she has to choke herself because, social distancing. If you can't use the force, your victim has to choke themselves. So we're clearly better than Sweden. We're also better than a lot of American states. Certainly better than Michigan.
Oh my
We're
God.
in Michigan where they had all those protests. Right, just yesterday they had those protests. Look at this dude in the middle with his sign with the quote borrowed from the state of New Hampshire, "Live free or die," which evidently Michigan wants to top with their new motto, "Live free and die."
Yeah, really. These guys, I mean, they're marching outside, and not just on the Capitol in Michigan, but other states as well. This photo I found from Kentucky. Kentucky, see, our taxes, we pay your bills. Reopen Kentucky, I think it says. He wrote it in true Kentucky fashion with cheap-ass markers and poor handwriting. But yeah, reopen Kentucky.
Right, it's fair to say this guy wants to open Kentucky, and you know who agrees, I suspect, is President Trump, who would love it if Kentucky would open because he would love them to continue making buckets of his favorite fried chicken.
Yeah, right. Although if I could rewrite this sign for him, it should really just clearly say, "I look like Bane from Batman." I think that's what he's really trying to say with that outfit.
Clearly.
And thank goodness that, Donald Trump said, hey, let's take these social distancing measures seriously. We all need to follow the rules and stay at home. No, I'm kidding. That's the opposite of what he did. He sent 3 different tweets. Liberate Minnesota, or liberate Michigan, liberate Virginia, liberate Minnesota. Yeah, you go ahead and march. And for some reason, he singled out 3 states with governors that he doesn't like because they're not Republican. Well done.
By the way, in the Virginia one, he even included a reference to the Second Amendment, to the right to bear arms. It's like, don't forget to bring your gun to this everybody's sick and terrified pandemic protest. Without your gun, who would get shot? I have to say, it's confusing. Like, based on what Trump says, you don't know if he wants to respect the governors or not respect the governors or stay home or protest. Like, his leadership is inconsistent.
It is inconsistent, and I think what we need now is consistent leadership. I mean, even my brother who is living in Washington, D.C., he says it's rudderless. It's rudderless leadership. And speaking of that, I thought, let's get an inspirational quote from the poem from Walt Whitman.
You read a poem?
"O Captain, my Captain, our fearful trip is done. The ship has weathered every rack. The prize we sought is won." That's what we need.
That's beautiful, Greg. That's a beautiful poem. I didn't know we were bringing poetry. But you know what? I have a favorite American poem that I think describes well his inconsistency.
Yes.
Trump's inconsistency in leadership.
Okay.
Let me see if I recall this. You change your mind like a girl changes clothes. Yeah, you PMS like a bitch. I would know. You're hot and you're cold. You're yes and you're no. You're in and you're out.
You're up and you're down?
Yeah, one of those. Katy Perry.
Oh, yes.
I'm sorry, Katy Perry, I'm sorry. I lost the last line of your poem. To be fair, I'm really more of a Taylor Swift fan. Either. So when you guys had beef, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. You're black and you're white. You're wrong and you're right. You're Katy Perry and you're Taylor Swift.
Because my relationship with Katy Perry and Taylor Swift is the same as their relationship, you know?
Oh.
They're frenemies.
Okay.
They're frenemies. We're frenemies.
Look, and by the way, I know this is coming out kind of harsh, or some people say, like, it's too cynical. We don't want to be too pessimistic. And, you know, that's the secret to winning is you need to be hopeful. We need to have the hope.
It's true. And we got a lot of this since Thursday's show as well. A lot of people saying, hey, you guys seem really pessimistic and you're down and you hate being American. And it's not true. We don't hate being Americans. And I just want to say clearly, so that everybody knows where we stand. I know we're going to get through this. The whole world will get through this. Certainly America will get through this, and then we'll get back to having the type of year where it is great to be American, if you're racist. It's great. That's where we were beginning, and that's what we still are, right? Like, if you are the type of person that you see like an African-American family having a picnic, and you're like, I should totally call the police. It is springtime for you. You know what I mean? And I think this attitude is best summed up in a tweet that we saw. Let's see if we can get that tweet up there. White folks call 911 like it's customer service.
Yeah.
And so first of all, fantastic tweet. But second of all, I kind of feel like that mentality is part of the reason that Trump was elected, you know?
Oh, yeah. Trump was there like, hello, police. I would like to report a black man in a White House. I don't know how I don't think he was even born in this country. Look it up. Yeah.
Hey, I'm sorry, for the record, for all the Dutch folks, I realized that I could have been clearer with that. So can we put the tweet back up? I think I let you down there. That's where it is. So I didn't tell you, but I should have. 911, that's kind of the American emergency number. That's sort of, 911 is American for 112. And I don't know how to describe customer service to you. I'm sorry.
Too bad. But so since 2016, since Donald Trump certainly was elected, we've felt this kind of seismic shift in America. A lot of people of color, minorities are feeling more at risk. You've seen the writing on the wall, sometimes literally, not make America great again, but make America white again if you don't get the subtlety. And it's not only in the United States. The Netherlands also has some racist graffiti like Turken terug naar Morocco, or in English, Turks go back to Morocco. No, geographically, it makes no sense unless you think about who was writing it on the bridge, and then, it kind of makes perfect sense. Yeah.
I gotta say, if it was just graffiti, that would be bad enough. But I mean, the fact is, since Donald Trump was elected, not even became president, but was elected president, hate crimes in America are way, way up, and it's awful. And like, of course, there's always been a little bit of racism, you know, in America. It's kind of like the special sauce in the old days. But for a long time, racists have known they had to keep that shit hidden. You know, that had to be their little dirty secret. But since Donald Trump, suddenly, like, being racist is back in fashion. You know, I feel like it's like bell-bottom pants, where every couple decades, people are like, hey, how does it look? You like it? And we're all like, no, we hate it. It's always the wrong choice.
Man, yeah. I mean, yeah, make America great again. What we need is, like, make racists afraid again. That would help.
Yeah, I mean, that would help, but I kind of feel like a lot of this stuff comes from fear, right? Like when people are angry, a lot of times that anger starts with fear. I don't want to go full Yoda, but you know what I mean. but like if you look at the signs that these guys hold up when they protest, here's a sign that was actually held up at the Charlottesville protest. You will not replace us. And by the way, pro tip: if you don't want to be replaced, don't dress to be replaceable. But when I first saw that, I was like, you will not replace us? What does that even mean, replace you? What are you talking about? But then I kind of thought, well, you know, for a lot of these folks in their lives, like maybe they are being literally replaced with technology, you know, like at work, replaced, you know, by machines, or at home, replaced by vibrators. Like, I think it's a thing. I think it's a thing.
And I mean, it's population in general, right? I mean, it's the census, it's the population projections, and people feel like, right or wrong, like they're being replaced. This was from like Brookings Institution. They said the U.S. It will become a minority white country by the year 2045. Minority white. What is it about that phrase that a lot of white guys find pretty disturbing? Yeah, I don't want to be minority white. Like, I know how minorities are treated in this country, and that does not sound good.
Yeah, and so all this stuff is happening. Like, never before has there been more anger between, you know, the red states and the blue states.
Yeah, and a lot of people are saying, hey, red states and blue states, you know, red is Republican, blue is Democrat. Yeah. Let's just call the whole thing off. Why don't we just have two different countries? We'll call it United States of Canada and Jesus Land. And we'll just call the whole thing off. But it's not that simple. You can't just divide them up like that, because it's not like red state, blue state. It's more like red county, blue county. You know, this is the new map of division in the United States. This is the new tribalism. It's not red state, blue state. It's more like red county. It's more like metro versus non-metro.
Yeah, I think that's 100% true. I think it's city versus non-city, right? Because like if you're watching the show right now, chances are you live in or damn close to a big city. And I tell you what, all us folks that live in cities have more in common with each other than we probably have in common with the non-city people in our countries. You know what I mean? Like, we're city people. You know, we like change. We like stuff that goes fast. We like spicy food. I mean, if you don't live in a city, you don't like change. You like things to go slow, and you like your food bland and covered with calve yopi sauce. and for my non-Dutch people, that's kind of like mayonnaise plus ketchup plus terrible. So for a lot of these folks, like, we got to remember they're there and let them catch up before we get too far ahead of them, because first they get left behind, then they get scared, then they get mad, and they all own guns. I think a great example of this is homosexuality and gay rights. Now, I've been a big, gay rights supporter for a long, long time, but I was surprised to find out how many people are not quite there yet. And in this primary election, there was a candidate, Mayor Pete Buttigieg, and see, I always say it like booty judge, but Buttigieg.
Buttigieg.
It's boot edge edge. It's not booty judge, but I always think of it as booty judge because that would probably be my drag name. Anyway, but so he was the mayor of a town from Indiana, but he was also an openly gay candidate. Yep. Again, no problem for me. But a lot of folks had trouble with that, including...
You said pokes. Did you hear that? A lot of pokes.
That's how much I support it. I'm in favor of the pokes. I talked to someone that I super duper respected, and this guy kind of goes, I'll tell you what, I don't think I could vote for Mayor Pete because I don't want him having gay sex in the Lincoln bedroom. Actual quote. And I was like, dude, what kind of sex do you think Lincoln was having in the Lincoln bedroom? Like, I got news for you. Read a biography, buddy. It wasn't straight sex with Mrs. Lincoln, I'll tell you that right now. But then it gets even more thorny with gay marriage. Again, big gay marriage supporter from way back, fan of the pokes. But But for a lot of folks, they were like, well, the Bible says, gay marriage, and you can't get married if you're gay. The Bible. And it took some time for people to catch up with us in the city. But, a lot of these folks, they'd be like, well, I was against gay marriage at first, but I got to say, I watched that Will and Grace television show, and, I think one of those two fellas in the show, at least one of them was a homosexualist. And my wife, she loves that Ellen DeGeneres show. Now, I don't much care for the haircut, but, I do like the dance. And there's a fella at work. Now, I think he's a gay fella, but he does a good job, and he really knows how to throw those darts. So, I think I've thought about it, and you know what? I support gay marriage. And the whole country finally came on board. But we, on the left, we liberals, we couldn't just take the win.
Yeah.
We couldn't just take it as a victory and call it even. No, we're like, that's great. In that case, we all agree that gay marriage is the law of the land. And also, transgender people can use your daughter's bathroom. I was like, people, again, I'm a big trans rights fan, but a lot of these folks were like, whoa, wait, what, transgender? I never even heard of that word. Let me look it up in the dictionary. The Bible! And you just got to let these folks catch up, or they're going to have a problem. Not like we have a hand vote to, dole out the rights, but let them catch up and get on board. I felt this myself not too long ago when I was running auditions for Boom Chicago. Because I don't know if you know how we do this, but every couple years we go to the States and we have an audition where we try and look for the funniest people in America. And we kind of have an audition in LA, in Chicago, in New York. Meritocracy. We don't care who you are, what you look like. We just want the funniest people. We bring them back to Amsterdam, leaving the United States slightly less funny. So we were holding this audition, and before the people come in, we put their resumes, their CVs, kind of on the table in front of us. And I'm looking at the resumes, and when someone had written next to their gender, transitioning to female, and I was like, oh, I've never seen that before. I don't. This is a little weird for me. What will I do? What do I say? And I was like, calm down, buddy. First of all, you've seen transgender people a lot before. You just didn't quite know it. And you know what? You won't even know it this time. You won't even be able to tell who she is. Let's let them in. It's her. The thing is, she was just at the beginning of her transition. And to the sort of untrained eye, the eye that's not used to hanging out with trans people, if you see someone who's beginning their transition, you might think to yourself, that's a dude in a dress. I see why that's the wrong label, but it's hard not to think that the first time this is happening in your life. So I'm like, oh, I don't know. And I realized, wow, this moment, this realization, it must have been what it was like for my dad the first time he saw, two men kissing, or what it was like for his dad the first time he saw an interracial couple. Now again, I come from a long line of liberals. We're always cool with it. You just got to give us a second to catch up. It's like when Americans come to the Netherlands and we see y'all eating French fries that you dip in mayonnaise, and we're just like, oh my God, that's an abomination against the Lord right there. And you guys don't give us a second. You're like, no, it's delicious. Stick it in your mouth. And we're just like, no, I don't want it in my mouth. I don't want it anywhere. I don't want the white sauce dripping down my chin. No. And then you get used to it and you try it, and it turns out it does taste terrible. But at least we're willing to try. So let me say this. I got over my weird, first initial moment. Proud to say we hired her, and I'm proud to welcome her to the stage for her first ever Boom Chicago monologue. Is what I would say if she had been funny enough. Unfortunately, she was not funny enough. I hope she's taken a class, and we see her in a year or two. Bring her out here. But it is a meritocracy, and the meritocracy worked. So we talked a lot on Thursday about we talked on Tuesday about Donald Trump's, sort of like those therapy sessions where he just says what he wants and gets everything off his chest, and doesn't matter if he's mean or if he's nice. It doesn't matter because it's just time for him.
Yeah.
Or as he calls them, coronavirus press conferences.
Yeah.
And in the last couple of days, a couple of news outlets have stopped televising the part of those press conferences where Trump is speaking, and I'm like, it is about time. Because to put on television his mix of misinformation and disinformation is super not good. Like when disinformation gets out there, it can cause problems. Look no further than what's happening right now with 5G.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, 5G, and they're protesting because, 5G is the 5th generation of wireless technology, and the radiation, we don't know what effects it might have. People are saying it's going to be harmful, that's why they're protesting, and we have to protect ourselves. Yes, they even have special hats now that you can, anti-5G hats that will protect your head from the 5G radiation. And call me old school, but I remember when the tinfoil hats were really made out of tinfoil to block the mind control rays. In fact, when they say Make America Great Again, maybe that's the Make America Great Again hat that we really should have. It's the old tinfoil hat.
Can I say it is possible to use this whole 5G conspiracy to your benefit? Like if you want no one using your Wi-Fi network, then all you got to do is set up your Wi-Fi network to say 5G right on the network. And then everybody stays the hell away. You got your 5G to yourself.
That's true.
I mean, your Wi-Fi to yourself.
And it turns out now there's a big twist. Now there's a twist there's a twist in that there is a social media campaign. And a lot of social media conspiracy theories that have been shared around. This one we got from the Next Web. Yeah, social media conspiracies blame coronavirus on 5G internet because you see there's causality because they were doing 5G testing in China, in Wuhan, and then came the virus around the same time. Coincidence? Oh, the government hasn't told us that there isn't a coincidence. What are they not telling us, people? And and now, of course, you're seeing tweets that are saying we have to protect ourselves. We have to destroy the 5G masts. Yeah, this is a tweet telling us that we should burn down these 5G towers before it's too late.
Wait, and hang on. Are people actually burning down 5G towers?
They're burning down mobile towers, which are sometimes 4G towers. Yeah, people are burning down 5G towers, but actually 4G towers by mistake because they're not smart people to begin with. So that's part of our problem. This disinformation campaign is very effective. I mean, we even know that you got Vladimir Putin, who has said he is using this disinformation and attacking 5G with health disinformation campaigns. And it's cost effective.
And can you imagine when they had like the brainstorming session with Putin and they were pitching ideas to them and they're like, oh, okay, President Putin, okay, listen to this. Here is what we do. We get like 1,000 different Russian agents and we embed them in the United States. It's like that TV show, The Americans, because they learn English and they live amongst us and then wait. And they wait patiently and they infiltrate technological companies. And then when you give the order, they upload the viruses and they snip wires and they rewrite code and bam, the 5G is destroyed. We are ahead of the communication race.
Or I can just send out this tweet, and now the Americans are destroying the infrastructure themselves.
They did it themselves. Excellent. Well done, sir. But let me take us back. We're a little tangent there. Let's get back to those press conferences because there's one guy that you see at all these press conferences, but we haven't talked much about him yet, and he is the head of the coronavirus task force, the vice president of the United States, Mike Pence. Mike Pence, of course, shown there trying hard not to let you know just how much he likes having that stick up his ass. A couple of things you should know about Mike Pence. First of all, and can we put this picture back up for a sec? The thing about Mike Pence is like he's always got that look in his eye and on his face like, oh, he's a very serious person. I'm doing that thing where I'm frowning my bro and I got my mouth it's pursed like this because I'm very serious and I'm always saying very serious things. You know, he's acting like an actor trying to act like the president. Whereas like, oh, I'm a very serious politician and leader. I'm not just some political hack hired to kiss Donald Trump's ass.
That is really the key job of Mike Pence, is kissing president. I mean, every third sentence that Mike Pence says is, I just think that the president is doing such a great job. If you could, like, personify North Korean state television talking about dear leader in such glowing terms and put, like, a short gray wig on him, that is basically Mike Pence.
Last thing you got to know about him is that he is super duper Christian.
Christian, yes. You mean he cares about poor people and likes to turn the other cheek?
No, I mean he's super duper homophobic. He's a terrible homophobe.
Yeah.
And he's one of those homophobes that's like so homophobic that you got to wonder, like, methinks the homophobe doth protest too much.
Oh, you're suggesting that Mike Pence want to sleep in the Lincoln bedroom?
That is exactly what I am suggesting.
Okay.
That is exactly what I'm suggesting. So we'd like to have a press conference featuring the president and the vice president. So now's the time. Andrew is live on the chat. Now is your chance to send us questions, and they can be questions about the healthcare crisis. They can be questions about the economic crisis, or God forbid, they're not questions about a crisis. It could be a fun question too. Who was the best Batman in the movies? Anything goes. As we take you to this press conference with the President of the United States, Donald Trump.
Thank you so much. And I would just like to point out that it is not just the face when you're being Donald Trump. It's also the hands, okay? The hands, very important. You have to do this one, you have to do this one, and this one and this one, okay? And that's why, if you think about the way he does it with his hands, are telling us the true story. Peeny, peeny, teeny, teeny. I think there's something that you be the judge. But we can also tell ourselves that you can ask questions, ask whatever you want. And just know that if you ask a very serious question, the true Donald Trump will still talk about any topic, everything other than that actual topic. So thank you very much. And I would like to hand it over now to the head of the Corona Task Force, the head of one of the Corona Task Forces. There's Jared, there's Alex, although we got rid of Alex. And so we're gonna, here's Mike Pence. Please, everyone, give it up for the main number 2 man, Mike Pence.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. You're too kind. I have to say, without your manly leadership, your sterling example, why, you're finally the finest leader that the good Lord has ever brought to us. I used to get down on my knees every day and pray. And when I was praying, I would pray for a leader like you, Donald Trump. And that's why I'm here to say I love you. I love you in the platonic way that a subordinate loves his boss.
In the non-Lincoln bedroom sense?
No, like as in Mr. Smithers on The Simpsons.
Oh, that checks out. Oh, my God. No wonder that's why I get to wear the red tie and you are stuck with the blue.
That's
or
correct.
No tie, as it, so bad.
Now, look, we're ready for your questions now. And let me
Go
just
ahead.
say this. The president's going to try very hard not to explode at people and call you either nasty or a loser. But if he does, I support him.
We need the full cooperation of the press, and that is why I am not going to be so hostile. I think we appreciate everyone who's here tonight. So go ahead. Do you have any questions?
Question
Yes.
for the president and the vice president. Tarek Eldorado would like to know, what is the last book that you've read?
First, let me just say that Tarek Eldorado is a fantastic name. It's a beautiful American-sounding name that's part of the rainbow of people. And Tarek, you sound like the type of man that would look good without a shirt on.
And also the book. I mean, if I can answer for you, Mike, I think the Bible.
I'm
Mike
always reading the Bible.
loves reading the Bible.
I'm reading the Bible right now. I've got special contact lenses made that have the Bible printed on it so that I can, if you ever see me close my eyes at a meeting, it's not because I'm trying to disappear. It's because I'm reading the Scripture.
I've also, I have been reading my own personal Bible, The Art of the Deal, which is a book. I don't know if you've heard it. It's a great book.
Oh,
You
that's
could
my
read it.
second favorite book, sir.
You could read it or not read it. It's my book. It's a book I wrote. I wrote it. It's so great. And I mean, I co-wrote it with a man named Tony Schwartz. And Tony Schwartz, if you're listening, you're a total liar. Tony said that not only did I not write my own book, he says I didn't even read it. Okay. I think that is so, you're so mean. You are mean, Tarek Eldorado, for asking that question. You're so nasty. You know you're fake news. You should be ashamed of yourself for even asking that question. El Dorado. Oh, are you from a city of gold? I don't think so. I come from a city of gold. It is the Trump Tower, okay? And pretty soon all of New York will be covered in gold. And then we'll see who has the gold city.
Tarek, you've made 2 enemies today by insulting the president. 2 enemies. So please send me a picture of yourself with no shirt on, and so I know who not to like.
Next question.
Next question, please.
Next question is coming to us via Zoom. Let's see if we can bring him up for you here.
Zoom, is that Chinese?
Zoom.
It's not 5G, is it?
I think a lot is routed through China, to be honest, sir. But if you don't like that, I'll make sure it's not. Zoom call. Hello there, Zoom caller. What's your name?
Hello.
And where are you calling from?
My name is James McDonald, and I'm calling from Indianapolis, Indiana.
Indianapolis, Indiana. You know, I used to be the governor of Indiana, and I left it in a beautiful homosexual-free state, James McDonald, and I hope you're enjoying a wonderful homosexual-free Republican life, because that's the life that's written in the Bible. Trust me, I'm reading that passage right now.
So James McDonald sounds like a good old-fashioned American name. Are you Scottish or American? Or
Yes, I am.
okay. Oh, so you're from the clan McDonald. Great golfers.
Your dad
I
was also
respect
in
that.
the Klan, was he not?
Yes. So many great clans.
A lot of great clans out there. Very fine clans on both sides.
What?
Mr. McDonald, what's your question for the finest leader you've ever seen?
I was watching Fox News the other night, and
God
I saw
bless you.
Senator Cotton say, that China needs to pay the price. Mr. President, what are your thoughts about China and their role in this crisis, and do they need to pay a price?
I mean, and this is what I mean. This is what I'm talking about with a great, great question. How hard is it, journalists, to ask a question that I can really? I mean, you're watching Fox News. I assume you're working for Fox News. I also watch Fox News, but I might as well be working for Fox News.
Very true, sir.
And I watched that piece with Senator Cotton, and I mean, Senator Cotton, I can't believe he's not from Georgia. And by the way, I mean, you've got not only Kelly Loeffler, but you've got Purdue. And were they doing anything wrong by trading the insider stocks? I don't think so. I think both of them should be reelected. And so when China should pay the price, I have nothing against China. They're evil, terrible people. And I love them so much you go to China. You want to go to China. You can't come back if you go to China, because you're bringing back, I don't know, whatever infected, some, bat had sex with a pandillo or whatever they're calling him. So, I mean, that's fine. That's fine. You people love China. I have nothing against China, but they have to pay the price. And they will pay the price. And by that, I mean they should pay their fair share to the World Health Organization or the WHO. I mean, you've heard of Horton screws a WHO. This is Trump is, and then we're pulling out of the WHO. Okay, we're totally pulling out of the WHO, and China has to make up for.
See, it's different. Sometimes this is the sort of presidential leadership that keeps China on its toes, Mr. McDonald, because he goes into China, he pulls out, he goes in, he goes out, he goes in. I love this man.
Indianapolis, I mean, are you obeying the stay-at-home orders there, or were you marching on the state capitol as well?
No, we're obeying the stay-at-home orders here.
Okay.
We're definitely doing that.
If you like Mr. McDonald, do you need a vice president to come and enforce the stay-at-home rule with you? I find that sometimes the buddy system works, two men staying at home together. Praying to God, of course, so they're on their knees the whole time. Sometimes you do it in shifts. One person's on his knees while the other's praying, and then the other one, and you reach a sort of level of ecstasy. It's a religious experience that I haven't had with my wife.
Thank you so much for your question, by the way, and thank you for your donation. I mean, I just got your email, and I sent you 5 different requests for funding, so I really appreciate that. Trump 2020, we're going to take it all the way. Thank you, James.
Thank you very much, Mr. McDonald, and take care of Indianapolis for us.
We've got a question here from the chat. It's from Fedor Chavilkin, and he wants to know, will the stock market recover before the next elections?
I mean, Fedor, I don't know what kind of name that is, but it sounds like our good friends from the east of Europe, maybe further east, maybe Russia. And Russia, I mean, I'm glad you don't know what's going to happen with the stock market, because I've been hearing too many things about Russia, and they know too much about what's supposed to happen with our stock market. Are they controlling things? I don't know. Russia teaming up with 5G, teaming up with Wuhan. What are they not telling us? I think we need to burn down some more telephone towers, I think, is the only answer.
Though they do team up with terrible people, Mr. President, I do want to congratulate you on the wisdom of teaming up with Saudi Arabia and Russia to make an oil deal.
Of course.
That was a good Russia.
Yes.
Good Russia's when you like them and bad Russia's when you don't. It's very clear.
And so if we have one other, I hope that answers your question. One more question?
Yes. One more question.
I've got a question from Dana Meiler. Mr. President, is your staff at Mar-a-Lago still getting full salary?
My staff, okay, and by the way, and I mean, it's such a nasty question. I know what you mean by that, okay. Oh, they're all illegals, and I must not be paying them. I pay them, okay. I pay them. You don't know what I pay them. And by the way, the whole place is going to be underwater soon. And I don't just mean I can no longer pay the mortgage there, but I mean the sea levels are rising.
Mr. President, if you don't mind, if I could just speak to this for a moment, because not many people know the president himself, in the generosity of spirit seen never before except perhaps the Christ himself, is donating his presidential salary, which is at least 5% of what he makes back in trips to his golf courses, donating the whole salary. You're a beautiful specimen, sir, and I'd like to announce right now, I'm donating my salary, donating it to you. I'd like you to have the salary, and I'll take no salary. Basking in your presence and tiptoeing into your room while you're asleep is enough for me, sir.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for your questions. I'll hand it over to Mike and Jared next, and thank you for tuning in, everybody. Thank you. All right, folks, there's one more thing we'd like to do for you before we wrap things up tonight, and that is to improvise, and you're going to name the 3 different questions categories.
Absolutely. We're going to take, Andrew's still on the chat. He's not leaving the chat. And he's going to take 3 suggestions from you, and I'm holding up 4 fingers, just 3 suggestions. The first suggestion is a cool, interesting country. So not a boring one, but a cool, interesting country. Spell it correctly or Andrew will make fun of you. Secondly, we are looking for an international brand. So like Apple or Nike, but they don't have to rely on child labor. It's up to you. Some interesting international brand. And finally, something that bothers you a little bit. So not like a big thing like world hunger, but something a little like my sandwich was too small and I'm still hungry. So something like that. Andrew, do we have anything yet?
We've got a country of Moldova.
Moldova, wow.
Yes.
That is an interesting country. Who sent that in?
It's already gone.
All righty. Well, whoever wrote in Moldova, I owe you a drink. So buy yourself a drink and then email me that I owe you for the drink, and then I'll definitely pay you for the drink. Anything else, Andrew?
Yes, in capital letters, thank you, Bestel Koch. Durex is the international country.
All right, hold on.
All right, so Durex, so the condom company, and I feel like we're not getting enough stories about people hoarding condoms in this whole thing. I feel like that's going to be a key element of your lockdown. Is locking down your reproduction as well.
And a JP says, I'm out of prune juice. That's his frustration.
Okay.
Is that true?
Yes.
That's my father, and he's out of prune juice. And just so you know the history, his father, Mr. Hyman Rosenfeld, once famously noted, "Without my prune juice, I'm licked." And by that he meant I have trouble with regularity when I poop. So out of prune juice is a big problem for many of us in the old Jewish man community.
All right. So here we have 3 of your suggestions. Hopefully, we got out of prune juice, the country of Moldova, and the brand name of Durex. And great.
We're going to use these suggestions in just a moment. But first, I'd love to just say a word about Fox News, because I feel like we've let Fox News get a little bit out of control. You know what I mean? Like 20 years ago, when Fox first appeared on the scene, like those of us in like the smarty pants community, we were like, "Oh, have you seen this Fox News? It's almost like right-wing propaganda." Oh well, Bill Clinton's president, it'll be fine. Then cut to 10 years ago, and 10 years ago, it's like, hey, have you seen this Fox News? Because it's definitely right-wing propaganda, and it's the #1 watched news show in the United States. Obama's president, will be fine. Cut to today. Fox News, still the most popular program. Donald Trump is president. We are definitely not fine. And the propaganda has been so successful that like 1/3 of the country believes that global warming is caused by the warmth of Jesus' love. So we got a bit of a Fox News problem. And I think when this whole virus thing is settled, we got to deal with that. So keep that in mind as we take that thought, as long as your suggestions of out of prune juice, I'm licked, Moldova, and of course, Durex, we take you to this Fox News broadcast.
Welcome, everybody, back to Fox News and our #1 show at this time slot of 3 in the morning. TruthLink, yes, all the news that won't fit into the lamestream media. Now, this is where we're discussing the latest conspiracy theory, and as you have heard, there is a global problem. People are running out of prune juice. But did you know that this conspiracy theory is actually being funded by Durex and funneled through illegal money through the country of Moldova? But now we need to know who is behind this secret agenda, okay? Now, the theme of the show is we just need to open our eyes, people. Open our eyes to the truth that is hiding in plain sight right in front of you. Because last week we discussed Monster Energy. Monster Energy, which is an energy drink that we give to our kids, but it is satanic, and I can prove it. Look at the logo. Is it a letter M, or is it 3 times the Hebrew letter Vav, the 6th letter of the Hebrew alphabet? Yes, 666 Monster Energy is satanic. Open your eyes, people. It's right in front of you. Also, we talked about Oreos. Oreos used to be a wholesome American cookie, but now the liberals need us to think of it as a racially loaded term, and their new product that is called Oreos Enrobed White only makes you think of one association, the Ku Klux Klan. And it's not your fault for thinking it, it's their fault for making us think it, okay? And finally, we have the Planters Peanut, Mr. Peanut, who used to look like a classic symbol of American capitalism with his top hat and his cane. And in the latest version, they had him clearly wearing yoga pants and open-toed sandals. Yes, they made him transgender, and that's why they had to kill him or her off. And it's a shame about America. Now, let's take a look back at what this truth is just trying to tell us if we just open our eyes. What do we know about out of prune juice? You have 0% left prune juice. Moldova, they are bad actors on the global stage. And Durex, it's a condom. You get more action if you have a condom and you're ready to go. So, what is behind this global conspiracy? The answer is right in front of you if you just open your eyes. Obama. Obama. It's clearly Obama. He's hiding in plain sight, and I'm not the only one who thinks this. Let us bring out another advisor who agrees with me 100% from the White House. Please welcome Stephen Miller.
Hello. I'm Stephen Miller, and I'm the special White House correspondent on racism, and White House assistant on racism, and they've let me out of my cage, and I'm proud to be here on Fox News, where I'm treated like an expert instead of a raving maniac. And though I hate to leave the wisdom and strategy and genius of Donald Trump, it's great to be here and hit you with some truth, because I'm a numerologist, and I've studied the numbers on this thing, and you would not understand or believe the mess we found when we entered the White House. It wasn't just a lack of prune juice, although it was definitely prune juice was missing. But the stuff that Obama was responsible for, you won't believe until I connect the numbers in these words in order to let you know. So let's take a look at the numbers of letters in these words and see what they're trying to tell us. Now, in the word Obama, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 letters in Obama. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 letters in Moldova. And I'll just write not America here. And Durex, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 letters in Durex. Oh, take a look at this. 1 number 5, 2 number 5s. There's 2 number 5s right there. Let's do some math. 7 minus 5 is 2, but 7 minus 5 is 2. Now we've got 1, 2, 3 number 2s. We got a 3 and 3 number 2s. Look at the vowels. 1, 2, 3 O's. 1, 2, 3 A's. How many sets of 3 vowels? 2. The 2s and the 3s are definitely trying to tell us something. So let's see what they're trying to tell us. Now, if you take 3 and you put it to the second power, 3 squared equals 9. And then if you take 3 plus 2, and that equals 5, but 3 times 2, that equals 6. Add it up, and you will see that Barack Obama is responsible for 9/11.
Yes!
It's right there, people.
There's
it's
no
right there.
other possible way.
It couldn't mean anything else.
It's
couldn't
true.
mean anything else. But let me tell you this. Obama didn't do this all by himself. Do you think they teach how to fly airplanes in Kenyon High School? No, of course they don't. So what we're going to do is we're going to make the connections between these words that nobody wants you to make, but we're going to make them. We're going to find out who's the puppet master pulling Pinocchio the lying Obama's strings.
All right, so we've got Obama, we've got Moldova. How is Moldova connected back to Durex? Well, when I think of Moldova, I think of mulled wine.
Right, and when I think of mulled wine, I think of Christmas.
And when I think of Christmas, I think of the war on Christmas.
Right, and when I think of the war on Christmas, I think of Starbucks.
And when I think of Starbucks, I think of Battlestar Galactica.
Right, and when I think of Battlestar Galactica, I think of the Jewish-controlled media. It's a conspiracy show.
You always think that, Stephen. All right, when I think of the Jewish-controlled media, I think of David Geffen.
Right, and when I think of David Geffen, I think of a griffin, the mythological beast.
And when I think of a griffin that is part lion, part eagle, I think of something that turns me on for no reason.
Right, and when I think of being turned on for no reason, I think about having sex with someone who's asleep.
And when you think of having sex, you think of
Durex! Oh my gosh, it's right there, people. But let's follow the trail, see where Durex leads us, and see who's really responsible.
Because when you think of Durex...
When I think of Durex, I think of Trojan.
And when you think of Trojans, you think of Greeks that are trying to sneak into your city.
Right, and when I think of Greeks trying to sneak into my city, I think of Mexicans trying to sneak into America.
And when you think of Mexicans, you think of a caravan.
Right, and when I think of caravan, I think of a gypsy.
And when you think of a gypsy, you think of a mobile home.
Right, when I think of a mobile home, I think of a good old American holiday.
And when you think of an American holiday, you think of driving your car.
When I think of driving my car, I think of driving it right through Middle America.
And when you think of driving through Middle America, you think of driving real fast in Middle America.
And when I think of driving real fast in Middle America, I think of getting myself right to Indianapolis.
For the Indianapolis 500, and who lives in Indianapolis? James! There he is. James McDonald is responsible.
And that is our show.
Thank you.
That is
folks.
our show. That is our show, and that is part 3 of our show. That means we are closed. But give it up for Greg Shapiro.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Pep Rosenfeld.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Boom Chicago, for helping us put this all together. And next week, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, the Matt and Stacy Going Steady show.
And sometime in the future, of course, Simon's movie quiz. You can buy tickets to all this stuff, and if you had a good time, share the links. Let people know it's not too late for them to watch, and it's certainly never too late for people to donate.
Yes.
Give it up for Tom up in the booth.
Thank you, Tom, for making all this possible. And give it up for our streaming dream team. We are live. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. We are live.
Please hire them. And,
Folks, I was going to say we're done on stage, but the chat continues. We're going to go backstage for the chat. So get chatting.
All right. We'll see you backstage. What else? Okay, streaming.
I'm gonna pull out my tablet. I learned my lesson.
Oh yeah.
How was that fun show?
Yes.
It was a whirlwind. 3 shows was a whirlwind.
It was, yeah, I know. And I do love the, let's just do that. Yeah. And I love, we got Tarek El Dorado, who's still chiming in, and the chats as well afterward are super fun.
I just want to say,
Yeah.
Greg said, write down the Katy Perry stuff. And I was like, I think I know the lyrics to Hot and Cold. And
Nice job, guys.
thank you very much, Andrew Moskos.
Very nice.
Hi, Maya.
Andrew's part of the chat this evening, so steer your questions to him as well and comments.
Yeah. I don't know if my niece is watching this, but it's her birthday, so happy birthday, Josie. And Ray Ray is watching this, so hello, Maya, as well.
I can't believe my dad suggested out of prune juice.
Dads are like that, man. Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm delighted by it.
I am, yeah. Man, yeah. No, my dad will do that too, and it is always. I always have to like put it in the back pocket. The reference that I want to make because that's only for one person.
Somebody asks Greg on the chat, what's Mr.
Okay.
Trump? What's your view on the flying spaghetti monster?
The flying. I mean, I believe it's a religion, and I think if you have your religious freedom, what is it? The Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, and you put a colander on your head or whatever for straining the pasta. I respect it. I think it's not as crazy as some of the religions, like Mitt Romney's religion, whatever that is. That man is crazy. But yeah. Oh, Brian says, okay.
Wait, what is the flying spaghetti monster? Is that a thing?
You know? You didn't know? Yeah. Oh, I'll look it up.
No,
I'll look it up.
I don't know.
So sorry. Yeah, that's me not assuming everybody knows my weird arcane knowledge of flying spaghetti monster. I believe it is someone who was trying to start up a joke religion to prove a point about freedom of religion. Flying spaghetti, a monster, religion, meme as well. So
While you're saying that, somebody notes, Brian Broad notes, my wife is in love with Greg.
okay, well,
So maybe you guys can figure something out once the swap is, once the lockdown is over. You can organize the swap.
the swap down.
The swap down.
Here's a link to the Wikipedia page of Flying Spaghetti Monster, the officially recognized religion.
Before the show started, guys, we had one person. They wanted to watch it on the big TV in their house, but they had to watch it on a small laptop because wife and kid were watching Lego Builder Masters.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so I said as long as it wasn't Playmobil, we could accept being second.
We can get behind that.
Yeah,
That's all right. Lego. Okay. No, good.
Hey, can I say I never have tried to do a Mike Pence impression before today.
Hey, Pep's Mike Pence impression. I gotta say, for a first go, that was funny and a really nice game.
Thank you.
Yeah, how about that? Yeah.
We're being asked here, have we ever been to Moldova? Have either of you guys ever been to Moldova?
No.
No. And I'm trying to now look up where it is because
If Greg doesn't know where it is,
I
that's
know.
bad news.
The Republic of it's a landlocked country in Eastern Europe, and it's the one between Romania and Russia. Isn't that it? Yeah, between Romania and Ukraine. And it would have part of the Black Sea, but they got robbed.
And their official religion is Flying Spaghetti Monster?
That could be.
My dad and your mother say great show.
Oh, that's nice.
So thank you.
And
Thank you.
your father said that's Dr. Rosenfeld, his father as well.
Oh, man.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
So someone asked, sorry, what is Trump's favorite Adam Sandler movie? And Ms. Von R suggests don't mess with the Zoan. Sure, who can argue with that? Great. What were you going to say?
I don't know. I feel like he'd be an Uncut Gems kind of a guy.
Uncut Gems.
I have no idea what that
Great
means.
movie, great movie.
Yeah, with the Sandman. All right, what is a good hotel to stay at near Boom Chicago? Any Airbnb in the city center, I think.
Whoa. Airbnb in the city center. Greg.
wait a minute. I guess those are just banned
Yikes.
as of yesterday.
Is it banned all the way?
That's what I read.
For 10-17 and 10-12.
Oh, wow.
So you got out just in time.
Got out just in time.
Wow. Okay. Oh, Moldova is known for their credit card hackers.
Oh, that's
should be
funny.
well
Hey,
right
a
up on
fancy
their-
hotel, the Andaz, Pulitzer, that's a nice upscale one.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Hotel V's a bit cheaper. Those are my quick answers.
Someone writes, Mr. President, can you say I resign? I just like the words.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Say it.
I will resign as of 12 o'clock tomorrow.
Make that your ringtone. Make that your ringtone, people.
Oh, that could work.
Hey, will
I
all
should
of
make
you
that my-
vote absentee this November? Is the question. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
We absolutely will. I was proud to vote absentee for Hillary.
Yeah.
And I voted absentee in the primary for Elizabeth Warren. I think we made that
The only
clear.
thing we should have done is before we moved to the Netherlands, we should have moved out of Illinois.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we were we should have moved into
Yeah.
Ohio or Michigan or a swing state so our votes could matter. What a strange system we have.
That's weird.
Giacomo, yes, you can remove the plant from in front of your television now. I suppose that's fair.
Thank you for your €5. Hey,
yeah.
some people weren't asking on the chat, can we still donate after the show?
Oh.
But I think we should answer that question.
You
which
can
is-
definitely donate.
You can
I mean,
absolutely
it
still
is
donate.
right there. Still have 173 people watching, and you can go to the info section of the and there's Fair Harbor. You can donate right there in the link in the info to this video. Donate anything you can, 5, 10. We can guilt you into doing more than that.
Can we?
Yeah,
Try, please
and
guilt
now,
them.
if you'd like.
Please guilt.
Because, I mean, we had a lot of people for the first Tuesday episode. We had a lot for the third. I don't know how many we've had for this one, but altogether, we were wondering, how do we get away with such great quality TV? I sound like a public television
That's why they do
really-
it.
fundraiser
Sure.
now.
That's why
it's
they
a
do it.
telethon.
And if you like malted milk balls, that's what you get for €50.
Yeah. Anyway, but no, we really, I was pleasantly surprised by the quality of the streaming, the quality of the image.
Beautiful stream.
Beautiful,
That was also for you, Dad.
beautiful golden
Beautiful stream, son.
It's PBS vibes, exactly.
Somebody writes, his name, Jan
Mr.
Peters,
Panda.
writes, yes, I'll pay for that ringtone, Greg. So I think that ringtone would be a popular item.
Okay. I will actually get the text from Nixon, and I'll say it as Trump. How about that?
Somebody writes, I would like to donate Indianapolis to the Netherlands. On behalf of the Netherlands, nee dank je.
We will be buying Greenland, but we're trading Indianapolis. Sorry. Okay. What else we got?
It was nice seeing Greg this show. The other side was obstructed this time around. So I
yeah.
guess there's some obstruction with the chat that maybe think about for.
Obstruction.
There might be some obstruction with the chat.
No, you should turn off the chat.
Turn off the chat. There's the
Hey,
answer.
speaking of which, everyone's going to come back next week, I hope. Going Steady, talked about it beforehand, but Matt Castelvi, Stacey Smith, super funny comedians from Boom Chicago's cast, and they are going to do a really funny, super interactive show with this quality of tech. How about no lag? A live internet show with no lag.
I'll be there. Pep and I think, are going to be there on
absolutely.
Tuesday night for the their first show.
Ep
And we'll,
one.
we'll be in the audience.
Tuesday,
Yes.
8 o'clock Amsterdam time, 2 p.m. New York, 1 p.m. Chicago, 11 a.m. Los Angeles.
To Chantal Kolsma, who writes, your Bernie impression was better.
Haha.
I can take that.
Hey, but Pence was pretty good, Pep. I got to give you full props.
Thank you. Margot Compert agrees, writing, and that sucking up was really scarily well done.
Yeah. Isn't it funny? You think that would be over the top in comedy, but that's exactly what it is.
It's exactly what it is. It's so shameless.
You'd think it would make Trump embarrassed. You would think that it would be too much that would make him squirm. It would make me squirm.
I feel like make Trump embarrassed are three words that don't go together.
But here's Trump saying the words of President Nixon from the resignation speech. I have never been a quitter. To leave office before my term is completed is abhorrent to every instinct in my body. But as president, I must put the interest of America first. That's right in there?
Yeah.
America first. Therefore, I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow.
Ringtone.
Vice President Pence will be sworn in as president at that hour in this office.
That's the dirty thing. That's why I think it's worth learning about Pence because everybody's like, oh, let's get rid of Trump. How could it be worse?
No,
it wouldn't be worse.
Trump, you can see him coming.
Pence is an idiot you can deal with.
Yeah.
At least
a
he's
calm.
logical. At least it's not selfish. At least, I mean,
It's fair to say the one thing we know about Pence is it's not all about him.
No, right. I assume he would respond to facts and surround himself with qualified people. I mean, here I am telling why what a great president Pence would be, but that's where we are.
Yeah. Greg, was Comedy Central News as trustworthy as Fox?
Oh, my goodness. More so.
We had a show on Comedy Central a couple of years back, and it was Comedy Central News, and Greg was our was our anchor man.
Because Dutch news is news too. Yeah, and that was so great of Comedy Central Netherlands. That was the first season that they were on the air in the Netherlands, and yeah, Boom Chicago produced the show, Comedy Central News, and then then they realized it was much cheaper to buy programming than to make their own. Yeah.
That fellow who was talking about obstruction was joking because of his obstructed ticket, so joke's on me, and well done, sir. Well done, sir.
Well done, sir.
Yeah.
Best 50 euros I've spent on entertainment in a long time, says Ronald Maddox, and we appreciate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
How about a conversion, Greg, of "I will survive," but with the line "I will resign"?
Yeah, sure. I'm pretty sure that might be some lockdown mix song pretty soon. I could do that as Trump, I suppose. First, I was afraid. I was petrified. Maybe Mike Pence should be singing this torch song in a lovely shade of lipstick, and I don't know.
And then he can be booty judge.
Yeah, right. Anyway, wait, what else? Oh,
For Mike, it's all about mother. That's true.
we've now got, maybe this is the time that we should tune out. Someone is just tuning in to say, hey, what is this? I don't know what this is. Okay, well, welcome.
Yeah, good.
And to the person that answered, live stream of Boom Chicago, that's not quite accurate. The live stream, it's more like the post-show epilogue live stream of Boom Chicago. It'd be a shame if somebody just tuned in and was like, so this is Boom Chicago? No, this is a bunch of fellows hanging out after the Boom Chicago show.
Speaking of which, maybe it's time for those fellows to have some drinks.
All
Yes.
right.
1.5 meters
Good talk
apart
to
from
James
each other.
McDonald.
Guys, thank you for watching. It's been 3 great days, and we wanted to do something big and fun and funny at Boom Chicago, and a lot of people came together to make this thing work, and it wouldn't work without you guys at home. Thank you for donating, for buying tickets. That helps offset the costs, and it helps give work to people who have no work during the lockdown. So thank you for that. Next week, Tuesday, 8 o'clock Amsterdam time, Going Steady. It's going to be fantastic. Live comedy. If you miss it live, you can catch up on YouTube. And we hope that you like something more than just Netflix. And we hope the Boom Chicago can add to your entertainment. Life is better when you laugh.
Life is better when you laugh.
Good night.